Can't believe it's that time of the week again. It's Friday night, of course. Usual time, 8:30, can only mean one thing. We're back with the LA Cinema Film Quiz. I'm your host, James. We're rolling sound and ready for action. Good evening, all. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a relatively good week in all the set of circumstances at the moment. It's good to be back for another edition. We're on to the 11th week, would you believe it, of the LA Cinema Quiz. We've been doing this weekly for the course of several months now, nearly for the whole year. And we've always got the live chat window. So if you just logged in and you're ready to participate in tonight's quiz, give us a little shout out, introduce yourselves, and let me know if you've taken part in the quiz previously or if this might be your first time. I see we got a couple of people here this evening. Hello to Dave Films. Good evening, hope you're well. And another regular, Shirley's back with us. Shirley Cormish saying good evening. And Bikey Chick as well. So we're going to be doing the usual format this evening. I'll be announcing tonight's hot cinema topics in just a little moment. And it'd be the same format as I said. It'd be 50 questions altogether, 5 rounds comprising of 10 questions. And I'll announce the answers at the end of the quiz, and we'll see how you got on with the 11th edition of LA Cinema's Quiz. Another shout out to Suzanne. Hope you're well. And another regular, it's Mr. Harlequin, back in the house, the birthday boy from last week, of course. Okay, so you're ready for tonight's subjects. Let's see if any of these tickle your fancy. Maybe not. Okay, so round number 1. I've taken a Hollywood actor, a very famous one, particularly famous in the 1970s decade. We're going to begin with Jeff Bridges. The actor Jeff Bridges is round number 1. Round number 2, we're going to take another year, the 70s again, the mid-1970s, films released in the year 1975 for round number 2. Number 3, I'm going to try and put my voice in action again. Oh, heaven forbid. I'm going to sing some songs from the 1990s, famous film themes. You just need to guess the name of the song, the artist, and the film it was used in. Bikey Chick asked for a bit of fashion for a round. So for number 4, famous film costumes. And the last one, a bit of a multiple choice one. Guess the UK BBFC rating. Hope it all makes sense for this evening's quiz. And we'll start in just a moment. A couple of little bits of news just to announce first. I always do some cinema news to begin with. Okay, so the first thing I read up on early in the week was about Sky Cinema. They're looking to compete with a lot of the other streaming giants, such as your Netflix and your Amazon Primes, and they'll host over 30 new original films this year in 2021. Another bit of news I also read, a couple of online articles saying that the legend Robert De Niro will be co-starring with John Boyega to team up on a new Formula One movie about a driver forced into a life of crime. And this one will be financed by Netflix. So I'll keep my eyes peeled for that one. Looks an interesting cast. De Niro and the young man himself, John Boyega. Should be good. Okay, so we'll do a little couple of mini reviews. I watched 2 films this week, both relatively good films. So I'll be giving my lowdown and announcing which films they were. Okay, so are you ready for the quiz? Probably thinking, why am I dressed in a suit? Well, I had a couple of people say that I needed to smarten myself up certainly need a shave this week, which I've done. I do desperately need a haircut, so I thought I'd stick on my best suit, but it's a little bit stuffy in this lounge. So I think I'll lose the jacket and we'll make a start. That's better. Okay, so the only thing I'll say for this week is the usual thing. We've got the live chat window. Obviously, don't put your answers in the live chat because everyone will see them. I'll repeat any questions if you need them repeated. And we'll see how you all get on. Good luck, everyone. And enjoy this evening. Yeah, I thought I had an interview. I've had a couple, actually, during the lockdown. Not successful at all. Still here. Still live and kicking with the quiz. Okay, ready for round number one, everyone? Friday night, the 11th week. Round one, Jeff Bridges. So we're going to start off with a two-part question. So there's two answers for this one, 2 points on offer. Here we go. Name Jeff Bridges' father, also an actor, and his older brother, who co-starred with Jeff in the fabulous Baker Boys from 1989. So going with a family connection, a film-related family, the Bridges. But for question number one, name Jeff Bridges' father, also an actor, and his older brother, who co-starred with Jeff in the fabulous Baker Boys from 1989. Co-starred one of my favorite ladies, Michelle Pfeiffer, of course. But I'm looking for Jeff Bridges' dad and his brother, who co-star in that film. Number two, Oscar season, related to Jeff Bridges. Here we go. Bridges has received 7 Academy Award nominations, but he's only won on one occasion. He received the Oscar in the leading man category in 2010, but name the film he appeared in. It's number two. Good evening, Emma. I hope you're well. Hope you've had a good week. Thanks for joining us again for the weekly quiz. So number two again, Bridges has received 7 Oscar nominations, but has only won once. He received the Oscar in the leading man category in 2010, but I'm looking for the name of the film he appeared in. It's number two. Number three, we cast the clock back to the 80s decade, the mid-80s. Here we go. Name this 1984 sci-fi movie Bridges starred in and directed by John Carpenter. An alien takes the form of a young widow's husband and makes her drive him across the country before the government tries to stop him. I'm looking for the title of the film from 1984. First round tonight is Jeff Bridges, if you just joined us. Number three again, name this 1984 science fiction movie Bridges starred in and directed by John Carpenter. An alien takes the form of a young widow's husband and makes her drive him across the country before the government tries to stop them. Tell me the name of that film for 1 point. Number four, we go from the 80s to a decade later, 1990s now. Okay, question 4. Jeff Bridges plays a member of the Boston Bomb Squad in the 1994 action drama Blown Away, but name Bridges' male co-star. He plays an Irish bomber. I'd imagine Ian to get this one. Ian Richards in Bristol. I think he likes his Jeff Bridges, and I don't blame him. Number 4, Jeff Bridges plays a member of the Boston Bomb Squad in the 1994 action drama Blown Away, but name Bridges' male co-star who plays an Irish bomber. That's number 4. Just going to have a little sip of the old water. Number 5 now, probably my favourite Jeff Bridges film. Here we go. Bridges stars in The Last Picture Show, which is set in 1951 and is about a group of schoolers who come of age in a bleak, isolated North Texas town that is dying both culturally and economically. But name the American filmmaker who directed this 1971 classic. I would say one of the best films of the 70s decade. Not seen it in many years, but it really is a great film. So The Last Picture Show, which is set in 51. It's about an isolated town in North Texas that is dying both culturally and economically. But name the American director who made this 1971 classic. He was good friends with Orson Welles, wrote a number of books and did a number of interviews with Welles over the years. They're really good interviews if you can get your hands hold of any of them. They may even be on YouTube. I imagine they are. Number 6 now. So we move from The Last Picture Show to its sequel. So here we go. Name the 1990 sequel to The Last Picture Show, which is set 30 years after the original film and sees Bridges reunited with co-star Sybil Shepherd. So 20 years later, they did a sequel to The Last Picture Show. Never seen this film. I think I may have owned it on VHS back in the day and never watched it. But name the 1990 sequel to The Last Picture Show, which is set 32 years after the original film and sees Bridges reunited with co-star Sybil Shepherd. Okay, number 7 now. This is a film I actually watched this week. So question 7, I want you to name the 1988 Francis Ford Coppola biopic. Bridges plays a maverick car designer and tells the story of his ill-fated challenge to the auto industry with his revolutionary car concept. So I'm looking for the name of the film. From the late 1980s, from 1988, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Bridges plays a maverick car designer, and it tells the story of an ill-fated challenge to the auto industry with his revolutionary car concept. But for 1 point, name me that film from the synopsis. Couple more left. We move on to number 8. We're round number 1. Name the character Bridges plays in the Coen Brothers remake of the Western True Grit, released in 2010. So I'm looking for the name of a famous character. This film was a remake, originally played by the great John Wayne, who won the Oscar. I'm looking for the character name Bridges plays in the Coen Brothers remake of the Western True Grit from 2010. 2 more now, 2 more left in this round. Here we go, number 9, going back to the 1970s again. Okay, Bridges teams with Clint Eastwood in the 1974 film Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, about a bank robber who reunites with his old gang to organize a heist. But name its Oscar-winning director. So I'm looking for an Oscar-winning director, American nationality. He made the film Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, which co-stars Jeff Bridges and Clint Eastwood from 1974. It's about a bank robber. He's reunited with his old gang to organize and pull off a heist. But name the Oscar-winning director. The director who made Thunderbolt and Lightfoot from 1974. And the last question, I'm looking for a female co-star now from a Jeff Bridges film. Here we go. Number 10, name Bridges' female co-star in the 1985 thriller Jagged Edge, who plays his lawyer in the film. So the final question, the 10th question of round 1. Name Jeff Bridges' female co-star in the 1985 thriller Jagged Edge, who plays his lawyer in the film. So that's your 10 questions. Have we got many Jeff Bridges fanatics joining us this evening? Or maybe some of you don't particularly know much or seen a great deal of his films. How did you fare with this round? Do you think you're an A student, an A+ student this evening? Or did you struggle? If you need any repeating also, give me a shout out. Let me know which ones. Not a problem at all. What's everyone drinking this evening? What they got in the house? I've just got the usual. I'm on the vino, the Vouvray. Yeah, question number 3. What was number 3? It was... Okay, question number 3 was the 80s sci-fi film. Okay, so name the 1984 science fiction movie that Jeff Bridges starred in, and it's directed by John Carpenter. An alien takes the form of a young widow's husband and makes her drive him across the country before the government tries to stop them. That's number 3. Mr. Harlequin, quite confident, saying a 9 maybe, but maybe a 10 or an 11. Be a good start to the quiz if you have got that score. Bikey Chick saying hopefully a 9. Dave Films likes his movies. I didn't do too bad in the end. An 8 for me. Bikey Chick's on the wine also. She's on the Riesling. Am I right? Is that a German white? Shirley Cormish is on the Amaretto with a mixture of lemonade. Emma saying an early end of dry January. And some SB and pale ale. I should have said a white Russian. Yeah, indeed. Okay, everyone ready to move on to round number 2 for tonight? So what have we got for you for our second round? Again, it'd be another 10 questions. Yeah, we're going to take a trip back in time to the 70s, long before I was born. We're going to go back to 1975. My favorite last decade of Hollywood cinema, I got to be honest, the 70s. So I'm going to give you some synopsis and clues for each one. All I want you to do is tell me the name of the film, all released from 1975. You just need to give me the title. Jack M joining us again. Good to see you in the week as well. He said he might have a glass of wine in a moment. Yeah, sit down, have a glass of wine, enjoy yourself, and see how you get on with tonight's quiz. Here we go, 1975. Any of you remember 1975? I certainly don't. I think I was minus 6. Okay, I'm an 80s boy, so number 1, I want you to name the rock film opera from 1975 about a deaf, dumb, and blind boy who becomes a master pinball player and the figurehead of a cult. Nice and easy one to start from a famous song. Almost giving you the answers. Name the rock film opera from 1975 about a deaf, dumb, and blind boy who becomes a master pinball player and the figurehead of a cult. That is number 1. A couple of you remembering 1975 fond memories, or maybe not so. Let me know. My wife, she was 70s, but she was 1976. Moving on to number 2. Next film. Name the 1975 fantasy comedy from mastermind Terry Gilliam. King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table must embark on a search for the Holy Grail, encountering many silly obstacles. I think a lot of you will get this one, if not all of you. Sula was 10 in 1975. Okay, so number 2 again. Name the 1975 fantasy comedy from mastermind director Terry Gilliam. King Arthur and his knights of the Round Table must embark on a search for the Holy Grail, encountering many silly obstacles. But tell me the name of that film from the description. Okay, another film released in the same year, but this one went on to win the Best Picture Oscar. Number 3 now. A Best Picture Oscar winner about a criminal who pleads insanity and is admitted to a mental institution where he rebels against the oppressive nurses and rallies up the scared patients. So I'm looking for an Academy Award Best Picture winner. The year was 1975. And it's about a criminal who pleads insanity and is admitted into a mental institution where he rebels against the oppressive nurses and rallies up the scared patients. Number 4 is a little bit more tricky. Yet another movie from 1975. Here we go. Robert Redford teams with Faye Dunaway in a Sidney Pollack film. It's about a bookish CIA researcher who finds all his co-workers dead and must outwit those responsible until he figures out who he can trust. So one of the great leading men of the 70s, Robert Redford and the talented Faye Dunaway, they star in a Sidney Pollack film. It's about a CIA researcher who finds all of his co-workers dead and must outwit those responsible until he figures out who he can trust. That is question 4. Number 5 now. We move from a thriller to a musical horror. Can you guess the name of the film I'm talking about? A renowned comedy musical horror about a newly engaged couple who have a breakdown in an isolated area and must seek shelter in the bizarre residence of Dr. Frankenfurter. Nice and easy. I think all of you will get this one. But it's question number 5, round number 2. A renowned comedy musical horror about a newly engaged couple who have a breakdown in an isolated area and must seek shelter in the bizarre residence of Dr. Frankenfurter. Name the film. Number 6, one a little bit more tricky. Again, another film released back in 1975. Here's number 6. Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, and Goldie Hawn all star in a Hall Ashby film. It's set on Election Day in 1968. A hairdresser and womanizer are too busy cutting hair and dealing with his various girlfriends and his mistress, whose husband he meets and finds out is having an affair with his ex-girlfriend. All sounds a little bit complicated, but then life can be complicated. And probably starring one of the biggest womanizers of the 70s, Warren Beatty. But tell me the name of the film. So I'm looking for a Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, and Goldie Hawn film. Hall Ashby, the director. Set on Election Day in 1968. It's about a hairdresser and a womanizer who's too busy cutting hair and dealing with his various girlfriends and his mistress, whose husband he meets and finds out is having an affair with his ex-girlfriend. Few more left. We've got 4 more questions. Number 7 now. Sean Connery and Michael Caine star. 2 British soldiers decide to set themselves up as kings in Kazakhstan, a land where no white man has set foot since Alexander the Great. That is number 7. So number 7 again is Sean Connery and Michael Caine, the stars. The 2 British soldiers who decide to set themselves up as kings in Kazakhstan, a land where no white man has set foot since Alexander the Great. Name that film. Moving on to number 8. Someone on the Pina Colada. That reminds me of a song from the same decade. What's it called? Do You Like Pina Colada, wasn't it? I can't think of the name of the group. Gone out my head. Number 8 now. The 4th film in the series. Inspector Jack Clouseau is put on the case when a diamond is stolen, with a phantom trademark glove the only clue. So this is a film sequel from 1975, and it's the 4th film in the franchise. Inspector Jack Clouseau is put on the case when a diamond is stolen, with the phantom trademark's glove the only clue. Here's a film I like from the 70s. I feel this one's a little bit underrated. They did a remake. I didn't see it, but I hear it's not good. Science fiction now. A 1975 science fiction sports movie set in a corporate-controlled future where an ultra-violent sport represents the world. One of the powerful athletes is out to defy those who want to put him out of the game. But tell me the title of the film. So number 9 again, a 1975 sci-fi sports movie, which is set in a corporate-controlled futuristic world. It's about an ultra-violent sport which represents the world, and one of the powerful athletes is out to defy those who want to get him out of the game. Okay, so Rupert Holmes sang it. Yeah, You Like Pina Colada. I think it features in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, I believe. I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken. And lastly, number 10, another of my favourite films from the 70s. Okay, I'm looking for a biographical crime drama. 3 amateur bank robbers plan to hold up a bank. The supposedly uncomplicated heist suddenly becomes a bizarre nightmare, as everything that could go wrong does. So a biographical crime drama from 1975. 3 amateur bank robbers plan to hold up a bank. The supposedly uncomplicated heist suddenly becomes a bizarre nightmare, as everything that possibly could go wrong, it does. So there's your 10 questions for round number 2. The year was 1975. Any you need repeating for round number 2? If so, just let me know which number and I can shout them back out, not a problem. How did you get on with your films released in that year? Are you particularly keen fanatics of the 70s? For me, I think it's, I said earlier, one of the great last decades of Hollywood cinema. Some classic films from the era. Bikey Chick, really confident with a full house. Be an excellent way to start the quiz with round number 2. 10 out of 10. Dave saying 5, possibly a 6 for him. Yeah, so many great films in the decade. Could be here all night and count them off on so many hands. Where'd you get started? So many, yeah. Love the decade. You got films like Taxi Driver, All the President's Men, Clockwork Orange, The Exorcist, just so many. Lucy Hawkins saying a 6 or a 7. Jack M saying a 7 or 8. Saying, I've seen that Robert Redford one, but can't think of the title. That was probably the trickiest one. And Mr. Harlequin saying, I sadly remember them well. Remember in the 70s like it were yesterday, which is odd as I can't remember yesterday. Yeah, I know the feeling, but thinks he got a 10, which would be a good score. Okay, we'll take a little break from the quiz and I'll do my first mini review. I made a slight mistake. I was going to announce the Jeff Bridges film that I watched, which was the first film. But if I do, I'll give away one of the answers. So I'll leave that one till the end. Okay, so my first film, I decided you're going to say, a couple of my friends say, oh no, not another European recommendation, but sadly it is. For years, I've been a big film buff. I love world cinema, but I don't feel I've seen enough Italian cinema, and I certainly haven't seen enough of Federico Fellini. So I decided to watch one of his films from the 70s. It won the Academy Award, Best Foreign Film in 74. So I decided to watch Amarcord, one of his later films. When I say later, he was making films for years on end. But here's a little synopsis. So Amarcord, Federico Fellini, came out in 1973. As I said, he would go on to win the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film. It's based in the 1930s, and it's a series of comedic and nostalgic vignettes set in 1930s in Italy, in a coastal town. Okay, so this is one I've had on DVD for many years. Here's the DVD itself, kind of a nice illustration on the front, which I presume was an original from the poster back in the day. So I watched this last night, and I sound such a bad parent. My youngest son wouldn't go to sleep. He was up at about 9 o'clock, and I'd only seen one film this week. I was desperate to watch a film. So I said, come on, Sam, let's watch a bit of Federico Fellini. Let's give you a little bit of a lesson in film. So he sat down and watched the first half an hour with me. And I got to be honest, I immensely enjoyed this film. I want to see more of Fellini's work. Beautifully shot, amazing choreography and settings, recreating Italy in the 1930s under a fascist regime. But the thing I really liked about it was really looking at people's lives in a coastal town, the interactions between men and women. There's a lot of sexual, promiscuous scenes, but they're never over the top. They're never overdone. They're kind of scenes that we can all relate to as men and women growing up in adolescence. Highly enjoyable film, really recommended. And I certainly want to go back and watch more Federico Fellini. So I think the next one on the list is probably his masterpiece, 8.5. But if you like your European Italian films, it's not heavy going. It's an excellent film. We'll give it a go. A lot of good comedy, a lot of humor. Everyone can relate to this film. It's all about growing up. It's about family. It's about life with your neighbors. It's about community. And it's very, very good. So Amarcord, Federico Fellini is my first recommendation of the week and the best film I saw this week. My second mini review will be later, and it's a Jeff Bridges film from 1988, one of our questions for this evening. Well, I'm going to hate the next round for a certain reason. Last week, we put in a round songs, film themes from the 1980s. And somebody asked if I'd sing them because we haven't got the copyright to play these songs. You get flagged up on YouTube. So someone said, sing them, which is never easy to do. They're even harder this week. So I'm going to sing a little intro from a 1990s film song. It's going to sound awful. 3 points on offer. I want you to tell me, firstly, the name of the song. Secondly, the name of the artist. And thirdly, the film it features in. They're all famous songs. You ready for number one? I've got to have a swig of water before doing this. They're going to be a nightmare to do. I don't know if I get the tunes right, but let's give them a go. This is number one. They're all songs from the 90s decade. Here we go. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left, because I've been blasting and laughing so long. that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. That was shocking. I'll do that again. So number one, it's a song, an intro from a song from the 1990s. But I want you to tell me the name of the song, the artist, and the film. Here we go. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left, because I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks my mind is gone. And then into the hook line. Number one, that was hard to do. Number two is even harder. Beautiful song, this one, but tell me the title, the artist, and the film. Here we go. There used to be a grey tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug, that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that you shine can be seen? That is a nightmare to sing for me. So that is the third one. Oh, I want the floor to open up tonight. So second one, here we go. There used to be a grey tower alone on the sea. You became the light on the dark side of me. Love remained a drug, that's the high and not the pill. But did you know that when it snows, my eyes become large and the light that shine can't be seen? Oh, that's hard. Hard to sing. So 3 points on offer, if you can even recognize it. The song name, the artist, and the film. Here is the third one, sadly for me. Okay. I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping. While you're far away and dreaming, I could spend my life in this sweet surrender. Got the tune completely wrong. That's the third one. I'll try and get it right next time. These are so much harder than singing than the ones last week, the 80s ones. They were nice and simple. Here we go. I could stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you are sleeping. While you're far away and dreaming, I could spend my life in this sweet surrender. Hook line comes in. Whew, number 4 now. This one's a little bit easier. 1990s film. Not a 1990s song though. Here we go. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair. And I'm wondering how I get down the stairs. Then the hook line. So I'm looking for the song title, the artist, and the film it was featured in. It's a film from the 90s. Here we go again. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair. And I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Number 4, that was. Number 5, nice and easy. But the film may be a little bit harder. Here we go. Is this real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, Look up to the skies and see. Ooh. So that's number 5. Looking for the title of the song, the artist, of course, and the film it's featured in. The film from the 1990s. Here we go again. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. Five more to go, thankfully. Nice and short, this one. Here we go. Ooh, my pretty... I'll start again. Ooh, my little pretty one, my pretty one, when you're gonna give me some time? Then into the hook line. So that's number 6. A bit of a rocker, this one, a really good song. And it goes a little bit like this. Can we bring on a singer, please? Oh, my pretty little one, my pretty one, when you gonna give me some time? Okay, that's number 6. I'm looking for the title of the song, the band, and the film it features in. So 3 points on offer for all of these. The next one, a little bit different. Okay, I'm looking for the name of the song, the artist again in the film, but for a bonus point, who was the songwriter? So who wrote this song? Number 7. I love you so much, can't count all the ways I died for you, girl, that's all I can say. He's not your kind. So that's number 7. For the bonus point, I want you to tell me the name of the person that wrote the song. Who's the songsmith? Here we go. I love you so much, can't count all the ways I've died for you, girl, that's all I can say. He's not your kind. That's number 7. Number 8 now. A film from the 90s trying to be like they were in the 60s. This might make sense. Here we go. You doing that thing you do and breaking my heart into a million pieces like you always do, and you don't mean to be cruel. You never even knew about the heartache I've been going through. That's number 8. That's a little bit more easier for me. Number 8 now, I'm looking for the song title, the name of the performer or the band that plays it, and the film it's featured in from the 90s. Here we go. You're doing that thing you do and breaking my heart into a million pieces like you always do, and you don't mean to be cruel. You never ever knew about the heartache I've been going through. And then the hook line. So that's number 8. 2 more to go. I'm saying thank heavens. This one's quite hard to tune. I don't really know the song that well, but I'll give it a go. Here we go. Number 9. I used to think that I could not go on. Life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true love. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. That's number 9. So 2 more to go. Number 9, I'm looking for again the title, the name of the artist, and the film. Here we go again. I used to think that I could not go on, and life was nothing but an awful song. But now I know the meaning of true life. I'm leaning on the everlasting arms. Finally, number 10 for round 3. Dead easy, this one. Number 10. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. That is number 10. The last one, thank heavens. Here we go. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. So again, name of the song, the artist, and the film it features in from the 90s. Well, for me, they were so hard to sing. I'm really sorry if that was sounding really bad on your ear. It certainly sounded bad to me. But that's all 10 for the music round, all featured from movies released in the 90s decade. And I just hope to God that you don't want any repeating back. How did you fare with your music rounds? They weren't particularly in tune. Any predicted scores for this round? How do you think you fared with this one? We did the 80s last week, which was quite good fun. For me, they were a lot easier to sing. Dave, films 27. Oh, of course, yeah, 3 points for each. 27 sounds good. Good score. Bikey Chick, a round of applause. You shouldn't. You should be booing, throwing things at me. Tomatoes like they did to that fuzzy bear. Sula saying that was a hard round. But Bikey Chick saying a pretty good round for them. We'll see how you fared later on when we reveal the answers. And I hope to God I won't be singing them again. Okay, so what was round number 4? Bikey Chick asked last week for a round on costumes. So we're going to go with fashion. We got 10 questions for round number 4 on famous film costumes. Mr. Harlequin says Amanda thinks she's got them all, but her nickname is Popmaster. Of course, you got the Radio 2 quiz show. And Shirley Cormish said, started off well, then went downhill. For me, it started off badly and went even more downhill with that voice. But let's go with round number 4, film costumes. Good luck, everyone. I hope you enjoy this round. Here we go. Number 1. Which female actress wears a badass leather catsuit in the 2004 action fantasy Catwoman? That is question number 1. Famous movie costumes. I hope you're all into your fashion. Number 1, which female actress wears a badass leather catsuit in the 2004 action fantasy Catwoman? So I'm looking for the actress's name for number 1. Number 2, a famous scene now in a famous film. Here we go. Seen coming out the sea in a white bikini and carrying a dagger, Ursula Andress plays the Bond heroine in Dr. No, but name the character she memorably played. This is such an iconic scene. We've all seen this scene in a famous 007 film from Dr. No, but seen coming out the sea in a white bikini and she's carrying a dagger. Ursula Andress plays the Bond heroine in Dr. No, but name the character she memorably plays. So the character name for number 2. Number 3 now, name the female lead. She's seen wearing an iconic costume in Clueless. It's a bright checkered suit, complete with knee-high socks and a knitted waistcoat. I often wonder what happened to this actress. She was particularly big in the 90s. I recently read an article saying she kind of got a little bit disillusioned by Hollywood. But name the female lead who was seen wearing an iconic costume in Clueless. A bright checkered suit complete with knee-high socks and a knitted waistcoat. Number 4, quite a tricky question. There's 2 points on offer for this one, so a point for each. Here we are. Question 4. Name the film and the fashion designer. Marilyn Monroe's billowing white dress, which fetched $5.6 million at auction. So this is a famous scene of Marilyn Monroe wearing a white dress. She's by like a subway, what do you call it? Like a subway drain cover. You can see her dress blowing up. But I'm looking for the name of the film and the designer, the fashion designer of that dress. Marilyn Monroe's famous white dress, which fetched $5.6 million at auction. Number 5 now, halfway through the round, and now I'm looking for the actress's name for this one, for number 5. Okay, name the Oscar-winning actress who appears in a memorable evening dance sequence with screen partner Ryan Gosling in La La Land. Very fine actress indeed. Done numerous roles. I always find she's good in whatever she does, very versatile. But name the Academy Award winning actress who appears in a memorable evening dance scene with screen partner Ryan Gosling in La La Land. Moving on to number 6. We're nearly at the end of tonight's quiz. We're round number 4. Name the iconic movie character who was seen in a 1964 family movie wearing a red scarf, a floral hat, an umbrella, and a bottomless bag. So I'm looking for the character, a famous screen character from a 1964 family film. She's seen wearing a red scarf, a floral hat, an umbrella, and a bottomless bag. But tell me the name of that character. Number 7, one of the hardest questions of tonight. If you get this right, really well done. Really hard question. Which London-born costume designer won an Oscar for her work on 2016's Mad Max Fury Road? So I'm looking for an Oscar-winning costume designer, London-born, for her work on 2016's Mad Max Fury Road. I got a feeling she won the BAFTA as well, and I got a feeling when she was presented the award, I got a feeling a comedian made some remark about her dress. Seems to ring a bell. Number 8 now. A stunning white dress is worn by which actress in the interrogation scene in Basic Instinct? It serves as a representation of a devil in a white dress. Yeah, Stephen Fry. I kind of remember he made some sort of sarcastic, jokey remark about her attire on the night, and I kind of think it hit the newspapers the next day. Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, I remember seeing that live at the time. But number 8, a stunning white dress is worn by which actress in the interrogation scene in Basic Instinct? It serves as a representation of a devil in a white dress. An iconic scene. It popped up in a question a couple of weeks back. Famous actress from the 80s, big in the 90s. Number 9 now. Uma Thurman plays which character, in Kill Bill, who has a kick-ass costume? A yellow and black coordinated and matching trainers. That's number 9. Last 2 questions for round 4. Uma Thurman now. She plays which character in Kill Bill who has a kick-ass costume, a yellow and black cord, and matching trainers? And lastly, for number 10, an iconic film from the 1950s. But name the 1953 film where Marlon Brando's Johnny Strabler wears a tough leather jacket, motorbike boots, and rolled up jeans. Prolific method actor. They say kind of the first method acting icon, the great Marlon Brando. But I want you to name the 1953 film. He plays the character Johnny Strabler, and he wears a tough leather jacket, motorbike boots, and good old rolled up jeans. Tell me the name of that iconic cult film from 1953. Okay, so Bikey Chick asked for this one last week. I guess she's keen on her fashion. A little bit different. We've not done this kind of round before. How did you get on with your film costumes? Some kind of tough ones in there. I think the fashion designer one for Mad Max Fury Road is particularly hard. It's a tricky one. How did everyone get on? Any predicted scores for this particular round? How did you fare with your film costumes? Anyone quietly confident that they got the fashion designer's name that I mentioned what happened at the BAFTAs? Okay, Suzanne would like number 9 again. Yeah, no problem. So number 9, Uma Thurman plays which character in Kill Bill? She wears a kick-ass costume. It's a yellow and black cord and matching trainers. Okay, Dave seems to be quietly confident with a 7, which would be a good score. And Jack would like number 3 again. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so number 3 was name the female leading actress who was seen wearing an iconic costume in Clueless. It's a bright checkered suit, complete with knee-high socks and a knitted waistcoat. Bikey Chick saying an 8, thinks that's a score for round number 4. Would be a good score indeed. And we'll move on shortly to the last round, the penultimate round of tonight. I thought I'd do something different. If you struggle with a couple of rounds, this might be a chance to pick up some points in the final round. So Sula saying the best round was the 70s for her so far. Mr. Harlequin and Amanda, we think maybe an 8 or 9. But if we get a 10, you won't live it down. And Jack thinks a 9, which would be again a good score. Okay, last round tonight. What is round number 5? What do we have in store for you? Okay, so round number 5 is I want you to tell me what is the film certificate. So obviously BBFC continually certificate UK film releases, but I want you to tell me the name of the current film certificate. So some of the original certificates have now been changed. They've been reevaluated, reassessed. So I'm going to name a film, and you need to tell me if it's rated U, PG, 12A, a 15, or an 18 rating. So it's kind of a multiple choice. So a U, PG, 12A, 15, or 18. Dave, looking forward to this one. I reckon you might get a full house on this one, Dave. Here we go, the good old BBFC. Based in the capital in London. I think they're in Soho. I've been past their offices many years ago. They're next to the Sony, if Sony is still there. Number 1, tell me the classification, the UK BBFC classification for Star Wars: A New Hope. So Star Wars, obviously not the first film chronologically, but the first one to be released. I want you to tell me the UK BBFC rating for Star Wars: A New Hope. That's number 1. Number 2, now think about this one. I did say at the beginning that some of these films have been re-certificated from original release. So the certificate has changed. That could give you a clue. Number 2, The Terminator, originally released in 1984. But what rating did it get from the BBFC? The Terminator, number 2. Number 3, it's been mentioned on many quiz episodes. Such an iconic film. But what certificate is Gone with the Wind? Gone with the Wind. What is the BBFC rating? It's number 3. Number 4, it's one of the Godfather films. Not part 1, not the great sequel. Number 2, I'd like the rating for The Godfather Part 3. Is it a U certificate? Is it a PG, a 12A, a 15, or an 18 classification? Number 5, Gremlins is the next one. Such a famous film from the 80s, of course, with good old Gizmo, the hero. But Gremlins, tell me the BBFC classification. Couple more left to finish off tonight's quiz. It's the 11th week during the second lockdown quiz. Done a couple of rounds now on censorship. Always quite interested in the history of film censorship. Films that have caused controversy. Number 6, Raging Bull. We know De Niro won the Oscar. Directed by Martin Scorsese, who's always prolific. But when the BBFC saw it, what did they give it the age rating? Raging Bull, number 6. Number 7, from Scorsese to Steven Spielberg. One of the great masters, so successful in Hollywood. Raiders of the Lost Ark is number 7. So Indiana Jones franchise. We love them, don't we? Apart from the last. And they're making another one. But Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tell me the certificate, please. Couple more left. One for Dave. I think this is one of Dave's all-time favourite films. I think he might even have a poster stashed away somewhere. It's Jaws, number 8. Steven Spielberg again, 2 back-to-back. This time it's earlier film. It's Jaws. Tell me the current BBFC certificate. Number 9, this one's a little bit tricky. It's a Freddy Krueger film, part of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But which number? It's Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So Wes Craven's New Nightmare came out in the 90s. It's quite a good film, in fairness. It's a good sequel. But what was its rating? Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And lastly, one of the great crime movies, one of the best films of the 90s. Scorsese again, but this time Goodfellas. What was the classification? So 10 films. Firstly, we had Star Wars and New Hope. Second was The Terminator. Third was Clark Gable, Gone with the Wind. 4 was the disappointing, in my opinion, The Godfather Part 3. Number 5 was Gremlins. Number 6 was Robert De Niro's Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull. Number 7 was Harrison Ford as the hero in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 8 was a shark causing a lot of problems in Jaws. Number 9 was a horror, but with a little bit of a spin with Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And number 10 was Scorsese at his best again with Goodfellas. Okay, so ratings there. How did you get on with your BBFC film UK ratings? Thought I'd add that one in. We don't normally do some multiple choice questions. If you struggle with any of the rounds, it might be a chance to pick up some extra points at the end. Dave, 10 out of 10. I thought you'd do well on this one. Kind of your thing. You're always talking about film censorship. I had a lot of the pre-certificated films, the video nasties in his collection. Really interesting video collection. Some really collectible stuff. Bikey Chick, lots of guesses for this one. Emma saying, okay, hopefully. We'll reveal the answers in just a minute. Got one last film that I watched this week, just to give you a little mini review and see if you've seen it yourself. And we'll top up your scores and we'll see how you fared with this week's quiz. Okay, so the first film I watched this week was one on the streaming services. It was from Amazon Prime. I do like Francis Ford Coppola, and I've never seen Jeff Bridges in Tucker, The Man in His Dream from late 80s. It was from 1988. It was produced by George Lucas. It stars Jeff Bridges as Tucker, Joan Allen, his wife, and Martin Landau, who's always good and was Oscar nominated. As the story of Preston Tucker, true story, a maverick car designer in his ill-fated challenge to the auto industry with his revolutionary concept. So I do like Francis Ford Coppola. I've not really seen enough of his work pre the 70s, so Conversation, the Godfather films, and Apocalypse Now. It's a good biographical film. It's nicely shot. All the actors are very good, particularly Jeff Bridges, but I think Martin Landau, who plays his business partner, probably shines the most. It's a good, decent 2-hour biographical film, good production values. It's good, but for Coppola's standard, I'd say probably not one of his highlight films, but worth a watch. Enjoyed it. Jeff Bridges is always good. Got good charisma. For me, he's a little bit underappreciated. If you want to see a later Coppola film from the 80s, give it a go. It's worth a watch. It's an enjoyable 2 hours. As I said, not a bad film by any circumstance, but not as good as some of his previous films. But yeah, my second film was Tucker, The Man in His Dream. The second film that I watched this week alongside Fellini's Amarcord. But for me, Amarcord was the much better film. Personal preference. Okay, so a couple of little topics to discuss. The first one to start with, and then after the answers, we'll do a second one. So for me, Jeff Bridges is a little bit underappreciated, I think, as an actor. He's highly rated, I know, but only one Oscar. Surely he should have won at least 2. He's always consistent. He's always good. But I kind of feel in the 70s that actors like De Niro, Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, and Jack Nicholson kind of outshone him. I don't know why. But in later years, I'd say their roles as older actors have been particularly poor and inconsistent compared to someone like Jeff Bridges. What are your thoughts on Jeff Bridges as an actor? And if you had to state his best work, his career highlights, what would you say? So I'd be interested to see what you think. As I said, I personally think he gets recognition, but I think he should be put on a bit of a higher pedestal in my view. Always seems a nice guy as well. Very down to earth. Bikey Chick thinks he's great. A cinema icon. Comes from a film family, of course, which is one of the questions tonight. But if you act, he's been in so many films. He's been in Hollywood since the 70s. That's 50, 60 years in the business. Emma saying True Grit, which is, good remake by the Coens. Yeah, Bad Times at the El Royale. I did see that one. A kind of something going on with the Kennedy assassination mixed in there from 63. Men Who Stare at Goats. Yeah, I can remember that he was in that one. Clooney's in that, isn't he? Amanda likes her Jeff Bridges, and Love Starman, of course, that was John Carpenter. That again was a question tonight. I put a couple of films that I like of his. I listed a few. Big Lebowski, of course. Someone's going to mention that one. For me, Last Picture Show is his best film. Personal preference. I thought Hell and High Water was a good thriller. True Grit, someone mentioned. Thunderbolt and Lightfoot with Clint Eastwood. Yeah, he can play good guys and villains. He's very versatile. I think in the 1980s, they tried to make him a heartthrob, but he's a grittier actor than that, and he wasn't taken seriously. Yeah, oddly, when I was watching Tucker, The Man in His Dream the other night, which is 30 years old, so he probably would have been in his 40s then, mid 40s. I thought he was a really good looking guy. I didn't remember him as being quite a handsome lead, because you kind of see him as an old man now. Good guys, yeah, not many can play a convincing good guy. I think that's what you mean. Yeah, so it looks like you all have got an appreciation for Jeff Bridges. Shall we go with the answers? See how you get on round by round. We'll see how you did with your scores. And then we'll do our second topic of conversation, which I'm going to ask you a question about world cinema. I personally have a love for it, but every time I recommend European films, I get some people say, we don't watch those. So that's my next topic of conversation. Here we go. Let's see how you got on. Round number one tonight was, of course, the man I just mentioned. It was Jeff Bridges. It was 10 questions. Here we go. Here are the answers. Let me just have a sip of wine. Dry throat this evening. That is my excuse for the bad singing, of course. Okay, so name Jeff Bridges' father and his older brothers who co-starred in the fabulous Baker Boys. So it's a point for each, 2 points on offer, of course. It's Lloyd Bridges is his dad, and Beau Bridges is his brother. So Lloyd Bridges, 1 point, Beau Bridges, the second point. 7 Academy Award nominations, but sadly only 1 Oscar, which is madness. He got it for the leading man category in 2010. But the film he appeared in is Crazy Heart. So Crazy Heart number 2. Answer number 2, Crazy Heart. Number 3, the 1984 sci-fi movie that Bridges starred in and directed by John Carpenter. It's Starman. So Starman, answer number 3. Number 4, I wanted you to tell me his co-star in the 1994 action drama Blown Away. The guy plays an Irish terrorist bomber, and it's Tommy Lee Jones. Another fine actor, Tommy Lee Jones, co-starring with Jeff Bridges in Blown Away. Number 5, anyone get this? The director of The Last Picture Show is Peter Bogdanovich. Peter Bogdanovich, answer number 5. One of the hardest questions of the night. Tell me the 1990 sequel to The Last Picture Show. It's called Texasville. So Texasville, answer number 6. Number 7, I spoke about it briefly earlier with a little mini review. Tucker, The Man in His Dream is the 1988 Francis Ford Coppola biopic. Number 8, the character he plays in True Grit is Rooster Cogburn. Rooster Cogburn, answer number 8. Number 9, who is the director of Thunderbolt and Lightfoot? Okay, so he won the Best Director award for The Deer Hunter. It's Michael Cimino. Michael Cimino is the director. And the last one, name Jeff Bridges' female co-star for the 1985 thriller Jagged Edge. It is Glenn Close. So Glenn Close, the final answer for round 1. A lot of Jeff Bridges fans, a lot of people said some positive things when I asked you what you think of Jeff. But what were your scores? How did you get on with round number 1 tonight? How did you get on with your Jeff Bridges round? Bikey Chick, an excellent start to tonight. She scores a 9. Really good. Sula got 6 in that round, a good score again. One more for Suzanne with a 7. Mr. Harlequin doing very well with a 10 out of 11. Jack Emma 2, but joined late for most of the questions, so we'll let you off there. Any more scores? We'll move on to round 2. What was 2? Films from 1975. So I gave you a little synopsis of a film from the year. I wanted you to tell me what the film was. The first one, a deaf, dumb and blind boy who becomes a master pinball player. Well, it was Pete Townsend, wasn't it? The Who. It's Tommy, the film. Tommy is answer number 1. Number 2, the comedy from Terry Gilliam. It, of course, was the Pythons. It was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 2, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 3, I reckon if I put money on this, you all got this. Best Picture Oscar winner. It was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson won the Academy Award as well for his performance. So One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is answer number 3. Number 4 was a tricky one. It's a Robert Redford film with Faye Dunaway, with Sidney Pollack in the director's chair. It's a CIA researcher, not trusting figures he can trust after co-workers are found dead. It was 3 Days of Condor. 3 Days of Condor, answer number 4. Number 5 was nice and easy. I think you all got this one. It was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Rocky Horror Picture Show, number 5. Number 6 was the film set on Election Day, Women Troubles. And it was Warren Beatty, Julie Christie and Goldie Hawn starring in Shampoo. So Shampoo, the whole Ashby film from 1975. Number 7, Sean Connery and Michael Caine are the stars. The film is The Man Who Would Be King. The Man Who Would Be King, answer number 7. Number 8 is a sequel, the 4th film in the series. It, of course, was Peter Sellers back again with The Return of the Pink Panther. That was answer 8. Number 9 is a film I like. It's a sci-fi film. It's James Caan. Rollerball is the answer for number 9. And 10, Al Pacino in the lead, about a bank robbery that goes horribly wrong. It's Dog Day Afternoon. So Dog Day Afternoon, your final answer. Sula was saying that was her favourite round. How did you get on with round number 2 this evening, all of you? Any good scores? We've had some good scores so far for your opening round on Jeff Bridges. And Jack does very well with a 7 out of 10. They made a series of Condor recently. It went great. I didn't know that at all. Didn't know that. Yeah, good score from Sula, a 9. 70 is the best round. It was downhill from here. Surely not. 10 from Bikey Chick, good score. 10 out of 10 from Mr. Harlequin. Very much his era. Susan, a 6. Emma Richards, the same score, also a 6. And a 9 for Sula, as I said earlier on. Round 3 was the dreaded 1990s film songs. And you'll be glad to know I won't be singing these back. The first one, a terrible rendition. It was Gangsta's Paradise was the song by Coolio. And it featured in the film Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer. You might remember that one. So a point for Gangsta's Paradise, a point for Coolio, and a final point for Dangerous Minds, the film. Number 2, the song was Kiss from a Rose. The artist was Seal. And the film was Batman Forever. So Kiss Kiss from a Rose, 1 point. Seal, your second point. And your third point, Batman Forever. Number 3, this is a really good song, in fairness. It's Don't Want to Miss a Thing. It's Aerosmith. And it's from the sci-fi blockbuster Armageddon. So Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Steve Tyler, Aerosmith, and Armageddon. Number 4 was not a song from the 90s. A song from the 70s. It's Stuck in the Middle with You. The group is Steelers Wheel. And it's Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. So Stuck in the Middle with You, the song. Steelers Wheel, the duo. And Reservoir Dogs. Number 5 was dead easy. It was Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, and it featured in Wayne's World. So Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen, and Wayne's World. Number 6 is a cracking song. It's My Sharona. The band was The Knack, and the film was Reality Bites. So My Sharona, The Knack, and Reality Bites. Number 7, there was a bonus point on offer. So I asked you the name of the songwriter. So who wrote the song? Well, the song title was Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon. The band, who I wouldn't have had a foggiest idea, is Urge Overkill. It's in Tarantino's second film, Pulp Fiction. Who wrote the song? It was Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond, the songwriter, always knew how to write a good tune. Number 9, we were going back to the 60s, even though it was a film from the 90s. The film was That Thing You Do, directed by Tom Hanks. The band was The Wonders. They certainly were a one-hit wonder. And the film was That Thing You Do. So same one again, That Thing You Do, The Wonders, and That Thing You Do. Number 9, I Believe I Can Fly was the title of the song. The artist is R. Kelly, and the film is Space Jam. So I Believe I Can Fly, R. Kelly, and Space Jam. And the last one, dead easy. The song was My Heart Will Go On, Celine Dion, and of course, it's from Titanic. So, how did you get on? So Neil Diamond was the bonus point. So there was 4 points on offer for that one. My Corona. Yeah. Okay, so how did everyone fare for that round? Thank heavens I didn't have to sing them again. 4 marks from Bikey Chick. Well done indeed, with a top score of 31. Suzanne, 17. Sula, 13. Emma Richards doing very well. The Richards with a 25. And Jack Emma, 16. Getting half the questions, 16 out of 31. Bikey Chick saying her era. Dave, a good score of 27. John Reese saying, hope you got the Neil Diamond one. Great song, Smith, mid Neil Diamond. And Amanda did very well indeed. 30 out of 31 is very, very good. Okay, so Bikey Chick asked for film costumes for round 4. Let's see how she got on. Okay, so it's Halle Berry, the actress who dons the Catwoman outfit in the film Catwoman from 2004. So Halle Berry, answer number 1. The character Ursula Andress plays in Dr. No is Honey Rider. Honey Rider is answer 2. Number 3, I said she was big in the 90s and kind of disappeared. It was Alicia Silverstone, who wears the Clueless costume. It's a bright checkered suit with knee-high socks and a knitted waistcoat. Very nice indeed. Alicia Silverstone. 2 answers. The Marilyn Monroe film with the dress, blowing in the wind, the white dress, is The 7 Year Itch. And the fashion designer is William Travilla. William Travilla and the 7-Year Itch. The actress from La La Land, she won the Oscar, is Emma Stone. Emma Stone, answer number 5. The iconic movie character from 1964, A Family Movie, she has a red scarf, a floral hat and an umbrella, and a bottomless bag. It is, of course, Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins, answer number 6. If you got this one, well done indeed. It was Jenny Bevan that won the Oscar for her work on Mad Max Fury Road. Jenny Bevan, answer number 7. Sharon Stone wore the famous white dress in the interrogation scene from Basic Instinct. So answer number 8 again is Sharon Stone. The character Uma Thurman plays in Kill Bill, who wears a yellow and black outfit and matching trainers, is the bride. So the bride is the answer. And lastly, Marlon Brando's Johnny Strabler. Well, we know he wears a leather jacket, motorbike boots, and jeans, rolled up jeans. But what was the 1953 film? It was The Wild One. So The Wild One, the final answer. How did you get on? How did you get on with this one, Bikey Chick? This was a recommendation from yourself last week. How did you get on with your film costumes? Do you like your fashion? Any people here who like to spend a bit of money on clothing and look the part? How did you get on with round number 4? Jack got a half. He got a 5 out of 10. Not bad at all. Anyone else? Mr. Harlequin saying, phew, I got 10 right. She wouldn't let me live it down if I got a bike or one wrong. No, Amanda wouldn't. 7 for Dave is a good score. 9 out of 11, Mr. Harlequin. Suzanne Chilcott, a 5. So the last round was a little bit of a multiple choice one. We're talking about UK film censorship with the British Board of Film Classification. I gave you a list of titles and you had to give me the certificate, but it was the certificate, the most up-to-date BBFC rating, not the original rating when the film was first given to the board for classification. So this makes it a little bit tricky. The first one was Star Wars A New Hope. Star Wars A New Hope. The certificate is a U. So U is the first certificate. Got somebody just joined us. Thanks a lot. Just starting the quiz late due to dinner. Not a problem at all. Number 2, The Terminator. Okay, we know it was released in 84. It had its certificate changed. It was originally an 18 certificate. It was reassessed by the board and it is now a 15 classification. So The Terminator, a 15 rating. Gone with the Wind was the next one. That is a PG certificate. So Gone with the Wind, a PG. The Godfather 3 is a little bit more tricky. The Godfather 3 is a 15 certificate. Godfather and Godfather 2 carry 18 certificates, but not the third one. So the third one is a 15 certificate. Gremlins was originally a 15 rated film. It was reclassified by the board. It is now a 12A certificate. So Gremlins certificated 12A. Raging Bull was released in 1980. It still carries an 18 certificate. So Raging Bull, an 18. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a PG rating. So Raiders of the Lost Ark, PG. Jaws, I think, was originally a 15 certificate. It's now down to a 12A. So Jaws at 12A. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a tricky one. You'd think it was an 18, like all the other Freddy films. It's actually a 15 certificate. So Wes Craven's New Nightmare carries a 15 certificate. And lastly, Goodfellas is a U, of course. Nah, it's an 18 certificate for Goodfellas. So that was all 10. How did you get on with your ratings? How did you get on? 10 questions again. We've done a few weeks talking about film classifications, the history, the controversial films, the ones that were picked up by the tabloid press at the time, a lot in the 70s, of course. Even mentioned some films that had been banned and not allowed to be released by the board. I actually picked up a film on DVD that's never received a classification a few weeks back. I haven't watched it yet. It's a 70s film. Don't think probably many of you have heard of it. I'll dig it out next week, let you know the name. Susan a 5. Sula not so good in this one with a 3. Mikey Chick did well with a 7, and so did Emma with an 8. And Dave did really well, got a 10 out of 10. And his score tonight is a total of 57, which is a high score. Suzanne 13 behind that with a grand total of 40. Not bad. Emma doing really well. The Richards, Ian and Emma in Bristol, 49 their total. Mr. Harlequin, we did really badly on this one. We misheard and we were going for the original certificate. Okay, so could have dropped a few points there. Bikey Chick saying that was a good round and a really good score. Top of the class tonight so far with a grand score and a very good score of 65. Sula's total score is 39. Thanks a lot for taking part. Hope to see you back one other Friday in the future. Thanks a lot. Good to see the new participant take place tonight. Thanks a lot, Sula. Suzanne enjoying it as usual. The only round I didn't enjoy tonight was the singing one. I made a complete prat of myself. No voice at all. Okay, so before we finish up, I just was going to have one other topic of conversation. I was going to mention a friend of mine as well who normally takes part in the quiz. I don't know if he's here tonight. He might be on child duties. He's got a couple of young lads like me that keep him busy, quite hyper like my two. But yeah, so my second topic of conversation, if I can find it here. I needed some glasses. Okay, so yeah, my second topic of conversation, I recommend quite regularly films, international films, world cinema. And a friend of mine constantly says, oh, that's all you ever do is recommend a lot of films, European films, international films. I personally don't do it to be clever. I really like European film, and a lot of my favorite film directors are European filmmakers. Some of the greats like Fellini, Godard, Renoir. I love all those guys. I really do. But I appreciate it's not to everybody's taste. But I also feel if you're big into cinema, you want to know about film history and delve into different kinds of cinema, it's good to test the water. But what are your thoughts on European films or international films? Do you regularly watch films with subtitles? If you don't, is there anything that puts you off about watching these films? Do you not like reading titles? Do you find that they're hard to watch, the majority of them, compared to your standard kind of Hollywood narrative? What do you think in all of world cinema, or are you big world cinema fans? I know some people who don't like Hollywood who kind of constantly watch more foreign language films. What are your thoughts? Yeah, less wine. To be honest, I haven't touched much of a drop tonight. This is only my first glass. Rest assured, only my first one. Got a bit of competitiveness going on with Bikey Chick and Mr. Harlequin, veering one another on for next week. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your views on international films. And whilst we're on the topic of next week, is there anything, Rangs, you specifically would like when we join you next week, next Friday, for the film quiz? Same time, same place here on YouTube at 8:30. Amanda asked me for a round on Viggo Mortensen, the actor. We can put that in. Any more recommendations? Anything people would like to see? Maybe a specific theme, or what are people thinking for next week? It'd be week number 12. Dave not into his world cinema. Robert Redford would be a nice one. Yeah, I constantly get battered by my friend who says, "Oh, you want to watch your French films?" We have a little bit of banter going on. I'll send him a message on WhatsApp. I do these little voice messages, talking into my phone, leave him a 2-minute message, and I say, "Oh, I watched Les Samurai last night by Jean-Pierre Melville. I watched Fellini," and he's like, "I don't want to hear this." Specific years Dave's asking for next week. Any other suggestions? We got Robert Redford, 1970s theme tunes. That's quite a good idea. Oscar winning songs. Yeah. Okay. Westerns. Yeah, I don't think we've ever done the Western genre, so we could do that for next week. I do like a Western myself. I might even try and watch a Western maybe next week. Anyway, thanks a lot for taking part tonight. Most of all, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's all just good fun. We all have our cinema. Just test your film knowledge. Just a bit of entertainment on a Friday night. Classic quotes. But yeah, we'll be back next week for week number 12. I'll try and find my clapperboard. But yeah, thanks for taking part. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed over the last few weeks. We're up to just shy of 200 subscribers, which is nice. I've never done anything like this before with a YouTube channel. I'm actually thinking of setting up another one with a friend of mine, but that's a little bit of a long story. So hopefully we can get that done. We've got an idea and a name we want to work on. So we'll be chatting about that tomorrow. But enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And hopefully I'll see you all next week. But if you know anyone that likes their films and wants to take part, do be kind and recommend us. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Enjoy your weekend, or try to. And we'll see you next week. So we'll end up the LA Cinema Film Quiz, the end of week number 11, believe it or not. And as they say, that is a wrap. Good night, and see you next week. Good night.